My name is Gina, and I am using my YouTube to document my journey quitting weed. Today is exactly 1 week from when I decided to stop smoking cannabis after 13 years of pretty heavy and chronic use. I'm on here to basically give an update. I'm making these videos because the times in the past where I've quit weed, including now, I've turned to other people on YouTube who have also done the journey, and I've listened to their stories, I've listened to their experiences, I've listened to their advice. And now that I'm doing this on my own 100%, like I'm really gonna do it this time. I have the drive that I've never had before. I feel it's time for me to share my experiences. So this video will be my experiences about reaching 1 week and day 7, what it's been like. So the last week has been pretty hard. I will be honest, it's been hard to separate what might be weed withdrawal with also what's going on in the world. If this video is being watched in the future somehow, right now, we're in June of 2025, and there's a lot. I live in the United States, and so there's a lot going on right now. And I think even if I was continuing to smoke and I hadn't quit, I do think that my anxiety and my depression and my mood in general would be affected simply by what's going on. No matter which side you're on, this is a pretty insane time. But anyways, so day 7, actually yesterday, I don't know if this would be day 7 or day 8, because technically it's Wednesday to Wednesday. So yesterday I really noticed a change in my attitude. Up until yesterday, not losing my shit had been really hard. I spent most of the day being able to control myself around my kids, holding it together. If they would trigger me, I'd walk away. Like, I definitely wasn't perfect. I would say, just leave me alone, and I would walk away, but it would be better than like releasing any kind of anger on them. I noticed a difference yesterday. The morning was hard. I woke up still in a depressed, anxious, moody state. But by afternoon, I started noticing something. I started noticing a little bit less anger. I started noticing that my positive thoughts were clear. Last week, anytime I felt bad, I would, talk to myself and say, it's going to be okay. You're doing a good job. And it would not hit me. It would not even pierce my psyche. But yesterday and today, a lot of my affirmations, a lot of my coaching to myself is actually making me feel good, which is really nice, because when before I quit weed, I was a positive person, and I did have a more optimist viewpoint, and the last week has totally destroyed that. I felt at the bottom of the barrel, deeply depressed, deeply pessimistic. So the fact that yesterday, which kind of feels a little soon, I felt better, honestly, it's pretty nice. I'm actually very grateful that I got to experience. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm all happy. It just means that I'm not all sad. I am having both emotions, or, I'm having more of a spectrum of emotions, which I think is important when you're withdrawing from weed, because I know some people, it takes a long time for them to be able to for their emotions to not be so down. It takes a long time for them to not feel that sadness. And I think what helped me personally get through that is before I quit weed, I was really working on my mental health. Before I quit weed, I was learning about depression and anxiety and childhood trauma, and learning about like how we're supposed to talk to ourselves, and I was learning about who I want to be. And honestly, I think that's kind of what led to me quitting weed. And part of quitting weed was the fact that I knew that I wanted to be somebody who just had a brighter view of life. And when I was smoking weed, and the anxiety would keep me away from people, and I would just hide and just be content being high and not dealing with the world, it wasn't doing that for me. And I totally acknowledge and respect that cannabis is different for every single person. I will never vilify cannabis, I will never say that it's the worst thing ever, because there are worse things ever, but for me, it wasn't good. It's not good. It was bad. It was bad for me. It was something that no longer served any purpose in my life. And so yeah, okay. So back to 1 week withdrawal symptoms. Appetite is still pretty shot. I'm eating not as much as I should, but I am eating. I know some people, it takes a few days before they can even eat again. When you're withdrawing, I guess when you smoke as much as I did and you withdraw, your appetite's going to be suppressed. Like, one of the things I've noticed is that when I stop smoking weed, because I have quit in the past, it just hasn't been for very long, I lose weight. And it's not even because of lack of appetite, because that will come back, but it has a lot to do with I'm no longer eating because I'm high or bored. It was so much easier to have my husband go grab fast food when I was high, because I didn't care. I didn't care that I was eating food at 10 o'clock at night because it tasted good. So yeah, so even though I'm eating less in general, which isn't horrible because I'm still eating good food, I am, I'm just not eating bad food. I'm not eating fast food. I'm not having the cravings that I would get, you know, from that. Other symptoms that might still a little bit be around is definitely the pit of anxiety. I don't know if anxiety will ever go away. I know that me sober versus me high, my anxiety is way worse when I'm high. I know some people use weed for anxiety, but honestly, like, I have no idea who's doing that. Like, maybe if you're taking edibles, but even, like, no matter what I've smoked, every single strain, every single thing, I've tried them all. I was from California. My husband's been smoking since he was 15. None ever helped my anxiety, ever. They just made it worse. Some might have not made it worse, but most of them made it worse. So when it comes to anxiety and that pit in my stomach, it's hard to say if that's a withdrawal symptom or if that's something that I need to work through regardless, and it's going to be around. So, but it's here and it sucks. And if you're feeling that, then just know that it probably is part of the withdrawal symptoms, because since day 3 or so, or maybe 4, I've had the pit just sitting there, and it just, every little trigger will stimulate that anxiety stomach, and it's constant. Before it wasn't constant, now it's constant. So, but I'm learning to work with it. I'm learning to sit and feel it and just allow that uncomfortableness to sit in my belly, because as they say, whatever you were using weed to escape, that's going to be your withdrawal symptoms. And so if you're trying to escape that pit in your stomach, that anxious feeling, that anxiety, it's going to come back, and you need to sit with it. You need to be there with it. You can't run from it. And I know that sounds terrifying, but believe me, if you do that, it will leave and it will go and it'll feel different. And yes, I'm saying here that I have this constant pit, but it's not. It's something that you can relax. It's always around, but you can talk to it and you can tell it it's okay. So, but yeah, so 1 week sober. I don't have any plans to turn back. I know it's only been a week, believe me. I made it to 100 days and I still relapse. So I'm completely aware that day 7 does not guarantee that I'm done. But at the same time, I'm taking so many steps that I've never taken before when it comes to quitting. My husband is fully on board this time when he wasn't before. In fact, he's reducing himself because he's come to his own realizations that when he's been smoking, for freaking 30 years, 35 years, does he even know who he is anymore when he's not high? And that's his journey. And I would never, ever have him do something he wasn't ready to do. It's all his choice. But so this time around, it's just not as available. This time around, I'm holding myself accountable with these videos. Yeah, the cravings are still there. Right now, everything in my body is telling me to smoke. And what I have to do is think of other things and just do other stuff, override it, tell myself, nope, not gonna do it, remind myself of why I'm doing this, and just keep moving forward. And I don't know, hopefully this helps somebody. Even if it doesn't help anybody, that's okay. It's just, I need to share my story and share my truth. And I will be back at Day 14, 2 weeks.